Hi everybody, I'm Seamus.
I'm Josh.
I'm Ritzgar.
And I'm Mumbles.
We're playing System Shock 2. Wait.
Oh, curse you.
Wow.
We are
wait,
playing
this isn't System Shock.
Bioshock. We're playing
Already
Bioshock.
down that
Josh
path.
is going to be our player. Josh is going to be our player again this time, and Rutskarn, Mumbles, and myself are going to be commenting on the game. And this should be interesting because if you've read anything I've said about the game so far, you'll know that I was very critical of this game when it came out. Mumbles is a fan of it. I think that's fair to say, Mumble.
Oh yeah. I love this game.
So this will not be 20 episodes of hate and bile this time around. We're going to have some variety.
Sunshine, happiness, and unicorns.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's what this game needed.
Son,
I'm pretty ambivalent myself. I enjoyed a lot of the concept and the atmosphere, but I feel like a lot of the main storyline was mismanaged
You know what?
and weak in places.
I love this beginning right here. People smoking on an airplane, and a smoke-filled airplane. This is unthinkable to people today, but I remember growing up in the 70s, everybody smoked, and there was smoke everywhere, and when they make movies today, that is something they often overlook. Oh, by the way, our airplane
that
just
might have
crashed.
had something to do with all the plane crashes.
And we got the title screen all wet. Great.
We're off to a rousing start.
No, I love this. This
Hey,
is
look,
a
it's a
great
bag.
panic moment. I love this underwater, the sound here. This really does create a certain amount of tension. It feels like you're drowning. It really did work for me, this beginning. You look up and you realize, holy crap, that surface is a long way up there.
And how the sort of suitcase drifts down, to create a sense of, yeah, sinking.
I'm kind of reminded of a Tom Hanks movie.
No.
Joe versus the volcano?
Yeah, that one.
Catch me if you
Really?
can.
'Cause I'm getting more of a Kevin Costner thing.
What the fuck? Is that a
Yes, that is
lighthouse
a poorly parked
standing?
airplane.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a poorly parked airplane. But is that a lighthouse standing in the middle of
That's a bad
the
signal.
ocean?
Yeah, it is
Fuck.
interesting. This is supposed to be a super secret place, but for whatever reason they built this giant monolith coming out of the ocean, and then they put lights on the outside.
Yeah, because like a giant lit fixture in the middle of the ocean that planes like to fly over. That's real inconspicuous. Planes
Guys,
don't take notice of little things like that.
did we crash into the Mist Island?
Oh wow, you're right. This does have a very mist quality about it, this building.
If this
I don't
is
have a
another Myst
flashlight.
game, I'm bugging out right now.
If this is another Myst game, it's going to be a lot longer than 20 episodes.
Unless Josh gets an engineering degree in the meantime.
Hey, if they pay us, I'll do a Mist game.
Don't get me wrong, I love me some Myst. It's just that Myst does not love me.
Last time I played Myst, I was like 6.
So clearly, the proper course of action is to step into this random submarine thing and pull the lever. Not, try to radio for help or something.
Yeah,
Well, duh.
yeah.
Actually, I
that
was
is
thinking go
the-
for a swim, but that works too. So guys, another elevator. How you thinking?
I am Andrew
Oh.
Ryan.
You know,
I
you're a
pose
bastard.
you a question. Is a man not
I think after
I
Fallout
really did not
3's
want to
lack
think
of
of it like
elevators,
this.
No, says the man.
But
You think
now
you're
I
ready to
have
move
to.
on?
Belongs to the poor.
Ready to...
No, says the man in the Vatican.
I love
I'm
how
ready to
safe
put
they
up
thought
with
the
him.
plasmids would be.
No, says the man in Moscow.
Yeah.
It belongs to everyone.
I do love this monologue, though.
I rejected
Me too.
those answers. Instead, I
Oh.
Giant eagle!
different
It's not an enemy in this game, is it?
Chose the impossible.
We should have had the subtitles on.
I chose.
Does this game even have subtitles? I don't...
Yes, I believe it does.
You want me to see if I
Yeah,
can
the reason I
fix
know
that
that is
real
because
fast?
all of the dialogue audio in this game sounds like I want to murder people!
And with the sweat
Wow, did you like... Are you a voice actor?
can become
That was amazing.
as well.
You forgot my babies.
My
So
baby!
this is like... Cool, it's an underwater city, I guess. Why would you make an underwater city that looks like a city and not like some kind of underwater complex?
Yeah, why make the externals of all this stuff this way?
I
This
think
is
I can
actually
answer that.
interesting.
Yeah.
We don't even have technology that could build this today. That's one thing that's worth noting, especially that glass bridge. I sincerely doubt we have materials where that would be at all feasible.
I agree. That is my biggest
And-
gripe with this game, is the
Yes.
architectural science is completely implausible.
The game was
We have
perfect
to
for me
go
until
find
that
some
moment, and that ruined it for me.
plexiglass and give them the formula for transparent
The rest of the... No,
aluminum.
And technically, it wouldn't be
the
impossible.
rest of the science in this
it
game
just
is
depends
ironclad.
on. Yeah, well, it just depends on how thick that glass is too.
One more minute. Spear's coming up now. Johnny, security.
Oh,
Okay, we really should have turned on the subtitles, because I can't even tell what the hell they're saying. Hey, look, a guy that can explain to me what the fuck I fell into. And... Okay, I guess we got a power outage.
He's,
I'm
probably
not
doing a
gonna
good job
hurt
of
you.
it, though.
Oh,
The old video game.
okay, you know
this
what?
is
I'll just
classic,
stay in here.
This is a classic first-person video game trope. Oh, look, I'm gonna meet somebody. Oh, wait, they're dead.
I can save them. Oh wait, no, I can't.
Actually,
I
you can
think
tell
his
just by their
plan
voice
was
acting.
flawed.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I'd ever want to be friends with any of those guys.
Because they probably talk like that at all times. Like, hey, you want to go get some ice cream?
Hey, you have nice hair today.
Why the hell can she
Please,
weld
don't murder
through
me.
this
I didn't mean to take your burger.
submarine? Hey, look, I got a health bar and a blue bar. I have mana.
That's for casting
Okay.
spell.
Yes,
I thought
you're
this
actually
was
going to, like...
1960, not 1960 BC.
I don't know how you survived that plane crash, but I've never wanted
Oh, is that the time frame this takes place? 1960. I didn't think
Yeah.
I really pinned that down.
No, it was right at the
Team
beginning.
Fortress 2 is a sequel.
you to higher ground.
Huh. Oh, was it in letters? Because I'm not so much...
Yeah, it
for
was
reading.
in letters.
And step out of the bathysphere. I won't leave you twisting.
Okay, fuck that. I am finding a way to turn on the subtitle because I can't even tell what the hell these guys are saying.
I love how this guy doesn't actually explain a goddamn thing.
Okay, see, I don't see a subtitles button here anywhere.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought
here
I
we
saw
go.
one. Oh, okay.
Art subtitles? What is that? I'll turn that on. Wait, what? You can disable the vital chamber? So, like, what, when you die for real?
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
have to do
That's
something.
Do it.
Then
Oh,
you
yeah,
gotta do
during
something
Let's Play?
that can
No.
be time-consuming and difficult, like reloading the
No.
game.
Mumbles, I don't think you've seen me play Fallout 3 enough. I die a lot.
No, I have. I've watched all of them, and I know you do. I enjoy it.
You enjoy it. No, I'm thinking in a linear shooter, we definitely don't want a bunch of... Oh crap, when
No.
was the last autosave? Okay, once again, I do have to compliment them on the exteriors here. That's pretty cool, that ocean outside.
And I like the noises. Like, the sound direction in this game is pretty damn good.
Now, would you kindly find a crowbar or something?
Plus,
Oh,
I mean,
Find
like,
a
you know,
crowbar.
Lights are sealed, John.
there's like no PC game in like the past 10 years that has actually had you start out with no weapons and then attacked you. But this game convinced me that it was gonna.
That's not a crowbar. That's a wrench.
Right, now, a lot of this is very reminiscent. Now, here's where most of my problems with this game come from. I know this game was well reviewed, everybody loved it, and for a shooter, it's pretty good. But the game sold itself as a spiritual successor to System Shock 2. And so when I played this game, I wanted to play System Shock 3, which is non-linear. Lots of leveling up. It's got a skill tree. It has an inventory like Diablo, kind of this grid of stuff that you arrange. And of course, this game has none of that. And those were the parts of System Shock that I love. So I went in expecting one kind of game.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened with a lot of people who like System Shock. Felt like when they went into this game, but it's so much better if it's linear because it's trying to tell a story and it's trying to be immersive. And if you're just running around doing your own thing, it feels less like.
Yeah, to be fair,
System
we
Shock
saw
2
the problem with non-linearity in storytelling games with the last game we did on Spoiler Warning. What the fuck is this? Okay. What? Why
System
are you...
Shock 2 isn't
No, what? Why the fuck are you injecting yourself? What the... Okay, see, that was dumb. What are you...
Yeah, I gotta agree with Josh there. Seamus, you were saying?
How System Shock handled it is there were sort of gates going through the game, so this whole level would be non-linear. But when you get to the end of the level, there'd be, something you had to get through. So basically every level was, okay, get through the next elevator or door or checkpoint. But from there were a lot of ways to proceed through the space. So I don't mean to say that it was non-linear game, open world. It was more, just the level design was more open.
Now,
I admit that...
I would like to... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that I admit that when you see the list of different rooms that you can go into, and then you realize that you can only go into one at a time in the way that they want you to, I was a little disappointed. I'll admit that. But I understand why they did it. It's because they want you to experience it piece by piece in the way that they think that it's going to work.
Well, I think the big reason is the reason that games are just shorter today. This game is a fraction of the size of System Shock 2 if you just go by volume or, just the amount of walking you've got to, just the space you cover. And this is an ongoing problem in games. It's that their rising cost has made them smaller, and you can't afford, nobody could afford to make this game giant open world.
Right.
God, I am tripping out way more than I did in Fallout 3. I just got talked to by a little kid with a syringe and some kind of whale in a diving suit.
Wait,
yeah,
I recognize that whale in the diving suit. That's the post-apocalyptic version of the Jack-in-the-Box mascot.
Worst thing that ever happened in Fallout 3 was that I started having corpses talk to me when I stole their stuff. Stupid corpses.
Anyway, I would actually like to kind of take the position between Seamus and Mumbles and say that, I agree that the strength of this game, in theory, was definitely supposed to be that it's a linear storyline, it's enriching, and I think that was a very good idea of where to take this game. But I actually gotta say that my favorite parts of this game aren't the overarching storyline, which I kind of personally feel is a big side.
Oh shit.
But it is the actual just bopping around, fighting the audio logs, exploring this place, and finding out how it all went wrong. Which isn't even so much tied to the main storyline. I think that's really Bioshock's strength.
I think you learn a lot about the main storyline through the audio logs, though. And the small things in the game give you an idea of exactly why the place went wrong.
Yeah,
and a lot of the details, even about the character that you're playing. I agree. I mean, immersion is the best part of this game. Being in a world that you've never been in before, that has all of these things that could have been great that are now wrong. But
and it's a very different world.
Right, it's something that I don't think is that commonly seen in games that I've played, at least, as far as just aesthetically speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't think of a single game that ever had this particular flavor this style. Once in a long while, we'll get maybe steampunk, but that mid 20th century, almost no game is set in the mid 20th century. Almost everything is future, near future, space marines, or fantasy, and once in a while we'll get a little steampunk, which we could certainly do with more steampunk. But this is completely different.
In my mind, this game's aesthetic is unassailable. It's just, that's probably the best part for me, is just how the game looks. It's not a matter of graphics, it's just a matter of how it looks, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
well, and they
like
really did a good job.
But anyway, going back to the whole linearity / non-linearity thing, I think they could have kept some of those audio logs and such, and moved it to a non-linear format. Now, I guess some of the audio logs, build up to things. Like, there's one that'll give a little bit of the picture, and then another one will give a bigger part of the picture. But some of them, like, how you have the whole surgeon thing early on, feels like they didn't really have to go in one place or the other. So they
I think that it represented an ideal, though. It represented how superficial the whole Rapture world was. So if you have it all in one place, you automatically know that part of their philosophy. And if you spread it out, it wouldn't have such a big impact.
That's an interesting point. Now, I mean, I guess the thing I was about to say was, well, what if they could move those pods of thematic issues? And, so you can pick which ones you do in which order, but that's not really non-linearity, is it? I mean, that's just Prince of Persia stuff.
I don't understand what you're saying. Just to give you, okay, everybody gets A, B, and C, but you can do them in any order.
Yeah, that.
For me, I mean, I think games are about making choices, and I think that's better than always do A, B, and C. It's just, well, you could do A or B, but you've got to do them both before you do C. That's superior in my mind to just doing A, then B, then C. Just in general, not necessarily.
In my mind, it could have been done that way. It could have been done that way. It's just a matter of whether it should have been, I guess.
Oh my god, I am really tripping now.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Ghosts and shit.
Is that an Ink-Slot song?
Alright, alcohol in this game,
amazing.
I approve.
How much of this game, considering System Shock was cyberpunk future, but it had ghosts just like this. It had superpowers. They weren't called plasmids. They were called something else, psi powers. But you'll see a lot. It had audio logs. You were obviously exploring an enclosed space that you couldn't just leave. Like, that's another requirement of this setting, and I think another reason why it's under the ocean. It explains why the player doesn't just say, well, screw this, why don't I just, leave? So it does a very good job of containing you. Or keeping, of providing an excuse for why you're contained.
Now, what the game is doing here is sort of like the classic video game. We saw this a lot in the last Fallout that we did. Was that it'll give you a sort of set piece that explains something or moves the plot ahead, and it'll make you just watch it. And in this case, the purpose of this is to show you like the whole little sister big daddy mechanic, and we'll see that in a second. But I think that I don't know, for some reason this didn't work for me, and I'm not really sure why. In this situation,
are you able to jump down there?
That's a good question. Let me see.
I'm pretty sure you can.
I am locked onto this metal overhanging bar thing.
Okay, so this is basically locking you in place again, so you can't attack, you can't use your weapons, and you can't jump down.
Yep. Railroading.
You could choose to you can choose not to watch it, but that's the only freedom you have.
See.
I would rather have this in a cutscene,
wow.
though. I mean, they could have
I
just
totally
made it into
agree.
a cutscene.
Totally.
And that's
agree.
the thing, is that most of this game feels non-linear, like you're making your own choices, you're not on the rails. When, for the most part you are. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But this part feels a little more rail-related than those.
Yeah, and I think this is the exception, though. There are very few parts of the game that are like this.
That's the Big Daddy.
Obviously, the temptation
think
is to
that-
identify this as Valvian. I'm sorry, continue.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that they wanted to show you the Big Daddy right away without you having to fight the Big Daddy.
And that was a very good
Yeah.
idea. You learn, okay, don't mess with this guy unless you're ready for a fight.
Well, I think the thing that... Oh, I just put my finger on why it feels artificial. Because the guy is actually like, okay, now stop here for an informative documentary on the most fascinating creatures, the Big Daddies, in their natural environment.
And you're behind
You know,
the glass.
Yeah, he's playing, like, you know, zookeeper, basically. If they just let you stumble on him...
What?
I'm just waiting for him to shrug.
If you spot a splicer in the
Now,
water,
I do feel like this whole introduction maybe drops you in it a bit too much. Like, I never really feel like at any point Atlas even tries to explain anything to you.
Oh, I thought that was
He's just
only
like,
supposed to stun.
okay,
Yeah.
so everything sucks now.
Yeah, I was gonna say while you guys were talking about the setting when Atlas was doing that whole thing about, I know you must feel like the most unlucky man in the world right now. I don't really feel so much unlucky as I do utterly and completely confused.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
plane crashed into an island made up entirely of a lighthouse, and then I took a submarine down to a vending machine where I injected myself with drugs. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
His mistake is thinking we understand our situation enough to be resentful about it.
But there's a chance that he doesn't care.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
we get into
but
that later.
it's not about that though. I mean, it's just about making the player feel like they're integrated.
Right.
Uh-oh.
To me, it's better than like constant exposition. Because nothing
that is a
bores me
flamethrower.
than deliberate and constant exposition.
Yeah, no,
And
I
this
mean, I'm
is
just
a problem
saying just
all
the right
games-
amount of thing.
Right.
Sorry.
And this is a problem all games have when you introduce something really crazy different, like this setting. I mean, okay, when you drop into a Space Marines game, you generally have a handle on, okay, I've got an assault rifle, and those guys are shooting at me. I think I can take it from here. But when you're playing a game like this where it's just so completely different from anything we've played before, you do need to explain some stuff for the player, and how do you do that without holding up the story? And I mean,
And I agree that
the trick is the more interesting the setting, the more mood-killing exposition you'll need, so the bigger the challenge.
Yeah. And I agree with Mumbles that he talks, like, just the right amount. It's just that he doesn't really say the right things, I guess.
Yeah,
I never
agree.
felt like I had enough justification for putting that first plasmid in my arm. I was like,
Now-
no, I wouldn't do that. I would just not do that. I'm just
Now,
gonna
there
go
isn't-
up there and sit on the porch of this place and wait.
Now, there is an explanation for that, I guess, but, I mean, if you don't know that, it just feels weird.
Correct.
I
That's
completely
exactly it.
forgot
They
what I
do
was supposed to
explain
be
it.
doing here.
I'm pretty
There's,
sure
like-
killing people, if
Well,
you kill,
yeah,
you can't
but
go
there's like
wrong.
a security breach. Is there like a terminal I have to hack or something?
I don't even
I
know
haven't
what's
played
going
this
on
game
right
in
now.
like several months, so I forgot all about this part.
As best as I can tell, you're being attacked by Buster with a revolver.
Don't worry, it's just a bunny.
Look at the
Oh no,
boons!
Andrew Ryan.
there's another way to get there. Head to medical.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Go!
God, it took me way too long to get that joke, Seamus.
Some of these enemies, I remember going through the game and not wanting to kill them. Like the woman with the carriage, for example.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone through and killed her. I would have been like, alright, you know what, you're fucking crazy, but I'm gonna go around you, if that's cool.
Tell me, friend.
Yeah. We cool?
Sent to you, the KGB wolf.
Although, for me, the enemy that I didn't want to kill, that I didn't really see the justification for killing, Big Daddies.
For you to plunge
Totally. I totally felt the same way.
sociologically slapped around.
Still kind of do
Yeah,
a little bit.
Government
Yeah, I don't think the game really gave you enough of a motivation to like go after. Oh, especially since there was basically no reward for it, and there was no reward for ever mixing your decision. If you kill one Big Daddy and harvest the little sister, you might as well do them all. There's no reason to go. There's no reason to like agonize over each one. It's not a matter of degree. It's all or nothing. Which means it's really only one decision that you're making.
Okay, sorry. That part right there, that was freaking terrifying. Just want to say. When you're there, you're freaked out. You know, it's pretty intense.
Less intense when you have a bunch of people talking about other stuff in the background, but still pretty intense.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. It was intense, even though it was only like 3 or 4 enemies, and like you'd already fought like that many enemies at one time. It was the sounds they were making. That was the part that was creepy.
The lighting too. You notice a lot of backlighting. The light. This is so much in contrast to Fallout 3, where everything was just kind of thrown around, and oh, we need light in this room, so I'll just put an invisible light source coming from nowhere.
And
everything's the same
light
color.
source.
Yeah, and in this place, every single light source is placed with purpose. They put this place together the way you would put a movie together. No light is here accidentally. They all have a purpose, and they all contribute to the mood.
When you run into the giant robot, you'll actually see it instead of missing it and being surprised by it later.
And another important thing
log.
is, alright, is all this contrast. Like, this place does not all blend together, even though it's dark.
The colors, totally. This is like almost like post-apocalyptic town, basically, and yet there's still so much color, there's still so much contrast, and that's what makes it not just a bunch of gray, just like a gray mash that you have to go through.
Yes.
It's got more weird colored lights than a Mighty Boosh episode.
So there's also hacking in this game.
Yeah, hacking. This is another item that they brought with them from the System Shock series. Even though I don't think it really makes a lot of sense here. I think hacking, especially since hacking is basically Pipe Dream.
Yep.
It's
and I hate Pipe Dream.
Well, no, Seamus. Clearly, this is clearly, Seamus, that's internet hacking, because it's a series of tubes.
I just want to loot your stuff, guys. Leave me alone.
I was so sad the first time my little flying turret guy. I was like, no, my baby.
Yeah, I'm more like that in TF2. I come up with a name for every single sentry.
Now, I had heard before this game came out that there weren't going to be regular weapons in the game. The idea is that everybody came down here with no guns. And that everything here was cobbled together from existing parts. But they must have abandoned that, because some of the weapons you find are clearly just, okay, this is not some hodgepodge of technology. This is just a shotgun.
Alright, Tommy gun.
And it's actually just like a really nice shotgun. Like that's something you hang up on the wall of a millionaire's house. It's got gold bits and stuff. It's not even like a farmer shotgun. This part is also creepy. Because you hear him coming.
Oh, hi. And then I get hit in the back because I was looting the other guy.
You know, now that I think of it, this game isn't particularly hard. Like, you know, I never had trouble fighting those enemies.
The only place it's really hard is when there's a bunch of big daddies.
But especially, at least in this early part, it makes you more afraid of its enemies more than a lot of comparative, supposedly horror games do.
And that is something I've always been on about, is that you do not need to murder the player constantly to make them feel afraid if you're a skilled storyteller.
Wrong direction.
It's definitely more about confusion as a way to make you feel like it's hard than actually making the enemies super hard.
Right.
That's a good
point. I mean,
confusion.
Yeah. Like in a movie, you can know, okay, this is the main girl, this is the innocent girl. I know she's gonna live to see the end of the movie, but it can still be scary when the guy's chasing her with a knife. Even though if you step outside the story, you can just tell yourself, look, she's not gonna die. You don't need the constant threat of death, a real threat of death to scare people. You can make do if you're a good storyteller with atmosphere. And
all right, I
We're gonna
lose
have
$60
very-
from the druggy muggers.
That, like, the more human a monster looks, the scarier it is. Like, I'm way more afraid of a pack of splicers than I am a Big Daddy. Because a Big Daddy doesn't look human.
yeah,
By the same token, in Doom 3, like, there's only 2 monsters that are even kind of scary in Doom 3. The zombies from the beginning, and little cherub baby things.
yep.
None of the rest.
And
well, the trites,
everything
but
else-
That's because it's trites.
Yeah. And everything else is just something to shotgun in the face. The
Yeah.
game got less scary as it ramped up the danger. That's a great example of it. In Doom 3, those first few levels are actually pretty easy, but they were... If any part of the game can be said to be scary, it would be those first few levels of Doom 3. And later in the game, you'll die quite a bit when you start fighting Hell Knights. And yet the game has just completely lost all of its scariness. I like how you're hugging this turret. I
Yep,
like
I'm
how
hugging
you hugged
this
it.
turret that I stunned, and now I'm hacking it.
I would just like to point out for posterity that I am the worst at this hacking minigame. I'm awful at it. I don't know why.
Impossible. I am way worse.
I'm actually pretty good
You'll
at
have
it.
to have a suck off at some
although
point, because
I haven't
think
played
I'm
it
pretty
in
bad.
like 6 months, so...
Genius.
Why did I just shoot 2 lightnings there? I only hit it once. Thank you for telling me how to hack the turret that I just hacked. You're very helpful,
All I can
Atlas.
think of at this point is how sore your left arm is gonna be.
I know.
Oh,
The
yeah.
constant injection. Like, you don't even, like, slide that into a vein proper. You're just ramming that sucker in there.
And that's not a dainty needle. It's like the size of a
huge
tomato
needle.
top.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is a good place to call it.
As I'm hacking the health dispenser thing.
No, once you're done with this. Because goodness knows, nobody wants to miss out on more Pipe Dream.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so next episode, stuff happens, and I will probably end up with more druggy, tripping, acid trips of drugginess.
Don't do
But
drugs,
it's themed
kids.
after Ayn Rand. So it's like if Ayn Rand took LSD
I hate
and
Ayn
then
Rand.
watched a horror movie.